My friends, I can imagine a scene where the disciples are gathered around Jesus, engaging in intimate conversation. And one of them opens up his heart and tells of a personal struggle. Well, probably they were uneasy, admitting their struggle and risking ridicule among their peers. And so finally, Jesus puts them all at ease and tells them of his own experience of struggle and temptation. Personally, I find great comfort in that thought because it offers me some strength in my own personal struggles and temptations. And there's several key thoughts in today's gospel that suggest that to me. The first is that every human being must face and deal with temptation. That's not an easy thing to understand, especially with certain people. There are those we tend to idealize or put on a pedestal. And so we seem to think that true greatness exempts someone from temptation, someone not like you and me. But the fact is that the opposite is true. You see, great strength and character always carry with it a greater burden of temptation. Listen to what the devil said. "Bow before me, and all this will be yours." Well, none of us really has to ever wrestle with something quite like that. But in simple ways, we all give into temptation. The shoplifter is tempted to steal a wristwatch or a piece of jewelry, while the shrewd business executive is tempted to steal the entire store. If our Lord had to struggle with temptation, you can be certain that no human being is exempt. Next, be assured that temptation in and of itself is not a sin. Remember, the New Testament said of Jesus that he was tempted like us in all ways, but never sinned. Temptation is really a common experience in the human race, but it does not become sin until we give into it and go along with it. Also, temptation is deceptively subtle. Evil does not always present itself in a grotesque creature with horns and hooves and a pitchfork. St. Paul even said, Satan himself can be transformed into an angel of light. Jesus was tempted to use his power to provide bread. Now, what could possibly be wrong with that? Surely it was a good thing to provide bread for the hungry. But Jesus saw through the temptation. He recognized that we do not live on bread alone. He realized that a full stomach and fullness of life are not one in the same. Temptation comes to you and me in the same subtle ways. Dishonesty will disguise itself as shrewd business dealings. Sexual infidelity will call itself free love. Gossip can be passed along under the pretense of prayerful concern for a friend. And a nasty temper can always be an excuse for ethnic weakness. Don't look for the serpent slithering on the ground or the devil with horns. Evil always comes to us in more reasonable and subtle ways. Finally, let us learn that we can find strength in sharing each other's temptations and struggles. Jesus shared his struggle to give us strength in knowing that he too was tempted. And maybe he's trying to teach us that it's okay to be human and to admit it. You know, the church is not for those who have an easy way of life or those who are without struggle or temptation. The church is for those who need the grace of God. If we would but share our common griefs and move from behind our masks, we can draw an incredible power from God and from one another. You know, the question is not, will I be tempted? The question is whether or not we realize the available resources of power that are available to us through Jesus Christ, our Lord.